What's going on, everyone? I'm Baggio Saldivar. I'm a local realtor here in Tacoma, Washington with Compass Real Estate. I've been in the area for about 5 years. I was originally in the Army and transitioned out and stayed here. So hope you like this video. Hopefully it helps you learn more about Tacoma, Washington and the surrounding areas. Please feel free to subscribe and like this video, and go ahead and comment below after on what other videos you'd like to see. So without further ado, let's get into the pros and cons of Tacoma, Washington. All right, so top of the pro list, I think off the bat, and I think you can probably ask a lot of the people here too, is the proximity to the other cities around it. The main city is Seattle, right? And that's about 35 minutes north, depending on traffic from Tacoma. And a lot of people in Seattle have migrated down to Tacoma because it's a lot more affordable. It's not as hectic or busy, but you're still close enough to get something done, right? The central location of Tacoma, because you also have Olympia to the south, right? So Olympia is the capital of Washington too, so there might be work and job opportunity in Olympia, but you want maybe a more big metro type feel, that's Tacoma, right? It's a good happy medium. And it's funny because like the more south you go, I guess the smaller city you get, if that makes sense. So Tacoma's right in the middle, and that's kind of what you're gonna get. And if you're not trying to still stick up to Seattle and you're still looking for jobs and opportunities, Tacoma is still great. It's still growing. It's still busy. It's just kind of at a smaller scale. Another plus to Tacoma is you still get the nice nature and the scenery that you do get in a lot of other parts that you might think you only get up in Seattle area. You still get it down here. So Tacoma, if you look on the map, it surrounds the port and it's right on the water, depending on where you're exactly at, but you're still got that access. You still have that access to the water to your west and the mountains to your east, right? Mount Rainier, great, beautiful views. You get better views of Mount Rainier down here than you do up in Seattle, and you get easier access to it too. So if you're interested in hiking and the trails, and when the snow is going to come in the wintertime, if you're more into getting out there, you definitely want to check out Tacoma. It's a lot easier access to those things. So people are moving down here for a reason, right? And that's kind of the other big ticket item is affordability and the housing prices with Tacoma versus Seattle. It's changing a lot. It's very fluid, but Tacoma, you can get the same home in Tacoma that you do in Seattle for probably almost half the price. It's kind of crazy to say, but it's really the truth, because Seattle is so much more condensed and populated, and obviously everything is just elevated as far as cost of living. So when you're looking here, you can definitely get more bang for your buck. Things are a little more spread out too. And then you also get a good mix of some new construction, some renovated homes. You got your townhome, condo options, but then you also have these older homes too with lots of character that, if well maintained, are a great piece that are always unique too. You walk into them and you're like, yes, this is not cookie cutter. This is not a home that could have been made today, honestly, without standing out, right? So that's something definitely that you have to take into account for, is what kind of home do you want and what's your price range, right? Like, you're not gonna get the same home up in Seattle, and you're not gonna get the same, I guess, neighborhood feel that you do in some areas of Tacoma. But again, so that kind of rolls into some cons, right? So neighborhood-wise, you definitely do have to know what neighborhood to look at in Tacoma, which that's why it helps when you're talking to someone who's on the ground here, an expert of the area, because in Tacoma, it does change neighborhood to neighborhood with how it is crime-wise, how it is with just the upkeep, and with how it is with the condition of the homes. If you want more about the specific neighborhoods and which ones to look at, check out my other video. I cover the top 5 neighborhoods that I believe you should check out here in Tacoma, Washington. Really, the only other con that I would say with Tacoma is with the higher crime rate areas and with the areas that are not kept up as much, you do have some problems with the petty crime and the homelessness, right? So there are some people that I know that have moved here, honestly myself included. You know, you go down areas and you're like, this is a lot of homeless people. Like, a lot of tents sometimes. There's piles of trash on some blocks, or, you know, usually it's right around the freeway, right? Like a lot of metro areas, but that is something that you really have to take into account. And really it could be shocking to you if you're not used to seeing that around, but there is a homeless rate here that is higher than normal, and that is it is prevalent in Tacoma. And lastly, for I guess the last con for Tacoma is, if you're used to it or not, right, it is the traffic. What's funny is right here around the Tacoma Dome and the I-5 freeway here, there was construction going on for about 20 years, and finally they finished just recently, right? So it actually has gotten better with that kind of uplifting and getting the construction site out of there. But again, it kind of goes with what you're used to, and it depends on where you're coming from. But you have a busy freeway right here, right around Tacoma, and it can cause traffic issues and commute issues depending on where you're trying to go. Overall, Tacoma has a lot to offer. It's a great place to live, depending on your situation, right, and what you're trying to do when you're moving here to Washington. So definitely check it out. If you think that this video was helpful, feel free to like and subscribe below. Comment below if you have any other suggestions of what you want to see out of this video or other videos after this. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. We'd love to hear from everyone. We're very familiar with out-of-state buyers too that are not familiar to Washington. Like I said, I'm past military. We work with a lot of people that are to and from. So yeah, feel free, like I said, reach out, and yeah, see you guys later.